All praises to the Most High, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Raha Kodash. Double honors to the elder apostles and elder bishops of Great Millstone who rule well. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect, scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, laboring in His truth in all sincerity. Luke 21 and 25, and I'll read this in the NLT. And there will be strange signs in the sun, moon, and stars. And here on earth, the nations will be in turmoil, perplexed by the roaring seas and strange tides. And this is Air Force Global Strike Command afgsc.af.mil/news. This was an article published on February 27th of this year from their Public Affairs Office. An operational test launch of an Air Force Global Strike Command unarmed Minuteman III ICBM missile is scheduled between 11:01 p.m. to 5:01 a.m. Pacific Time, March 3rd to March 4th from North Vandenberg. The purpose of the ICBM test launch program is to validate and verify the effectiveness, readiness, and accuracy of the weapon systems, according to Air Force Global Strike Command. The test is routine and was scheduled years in advance. And Vandenberg is located in Lompoc, California, which is the very northern part of the state, right outside of Santa Barbara. So they're going to be conducting these test launches once again between 11:01 p.m. March 3rd into the early hours of the morning of March 4th up until about 5:01 p.m. So as far as dates, these test launches will coincide with the blood moon. Well, they're going to run a few hours after the blood moon ends, I should say. So we're going to have a blood moon the early hours of March 3rd. Later that day, starting at about 11:01 p.m. Western Standard Time, Pacific Standard Time, going into the early morning, March 4th, they'll be conducting ICBM test launches of their Minuteman III ICBM missiles. So let's take a look at this next article I have here. And I asked the Google AI overview, will the lunar eclipse be visible in the U.S. on March 3rd, 2026? Yes, a total lunar eclipse or blood moon will be visible across the entire U.S. in the early morning hours of Tuesday, March 3rd, 2026. The best views will be in the western U.S. Once again, the ICBMs will be test launched off the west coast from Lompoc, California. That is Northern California. So the best views will be the western U.S., while those on the east coast will see the moon set during totality. Totality meaning red phase, and that's going to be at about 6:04 a.m. to 7:02 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 3:04 a.m. to 4:02 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Best time, the peak or maximum eclipse occurs around 6:33 a.m. So if you're on the East Coast, you'll be able to see this happening at about Eastern Standard Time, and that'll be at its peak or maximum eclipse this coming Tuesday morning. Western U.S. Pacific, the entire eclipse will be visible. So the U.S., as you can see here, if you scroll down just a little bit to Eastern U.S., the moon will set while in totality, meaning it will disappear below the horizon before the full event concludes. But if you're on the western coast, the Pacific, then you'll see the eclipse in its totality. I have one last article here. This is off of space.com, published 2 days ago by an individual named Jamie Carter. The total lunar eclipse on March 3rd will be the last one until New Year's Eve 2028. After this blood moon, our natural satellite will not fully disappear into Earth's shadow again for nearly 3 years, until a rare trifecta of total lunar eclipses in 2028, 2029 ends the drought. But what I really want to read here is what's highlighted. Observers across East Asia, Australia, the Pacific, and Western North America will see March's full moon, known as the worm moon, pass through Earth's shadow, turning a reddish copper color for 58 spellbinding minutes. So, if we take a quick look at this map, we see the United States, that is California right there. And so if you look at the northern tip of California, you'll see that that's where those particular Minutemen III ICBMs are going to be launched from. They are going here to Marshall Islands. So they're going to fly over Hawaii and they're going to they're going to land here at the Marshall Islands, which we see as a little south of Japan and a little northeast of Australia. So, California, Japan, Australia, right in the middle of all of that is the Marshall Islands where these particular missiles are going to land. So if we come back here, observers across East Asia, Australia, the Pacific, and Western North America will see March's full moon, known as the worm moon, pass through Earth's shadow, turning a reddish copper color for 58 spellbinding minutes. So East Asia, Japan, the Pacific, Western North America. And that is where the lunar eclipse will be visible for its totality, which is going to be about 58 minutes. So a few hours after this eclipse, this is where these particular ICBM missiles will launch. So we can see that the Most High Yahweh Bashem and Yahweh Shai is basically telling us what time we're in right now. And if we know how to assess the times, we'll know that, this is the prelude to nuclear Armageddon, which will be our deliverance. That's meaning us of the hopeful elect. We hope to be of that number delivered from this particular destruction that is going to take place. We see that these nations are gearing up now, so it's not just the U.S., but we also know that China, Russia, North Korea, they're always testing. But right now, the U.S. is conducting its last test for at least until the end of 2028, going into 2029, where we're going to get 3 straight blood moons between the last months of 2028 going into 2029. So just to show that where we are as far as the times that we are in right now. And this is why, we were instructed to pay attention to these things, so that we would know the exact times that we're in and how close we are to our deliverance. So I'm not going to make this video long here. I just wanted to point that out, that these particular ICBM test launches will be happening just a few hours after the lunar eclipse, and where it's actually going to be happening is precisely where the eclipse is going to be the most visible earlier that day. So that is no coincidence. The Most High, doesn't do things just by chance. No, this is all planned. This is all scheduled, according to prophecy here. So with that being said, I'm going to pretty much end this with, let's go to Joel chapter 2. And I'll scroll down to verse 30. And I'll read this in the NLT. The day of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, verse 30. And I will cause wonders in the heavens and on earth, blood and fire and columns of smoke. The sun will become dark and the moon will turn blood red before that great and terrible day of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai arrives. With that being said, I pray this has been edifying and reaches the ears it's supposed to reach. Shalom.